back with the Golfing Curious. Got a lesson today with Ash down at Dinsdale Golf Club. Going to work on some stuff from our previous on-course lesson.
Yeah, the on-course assessment was interesting. Some great in there. We think back to that third hole, stroke index 1, easy birdie, really, really good. Before that, we had a couple of minor teething issues, let's say.
Just a couple.
So today we need to think about that slice.
Yeah.
We need to think about the golf swing and see how we can kind of put you on the right steps to getting better.
Cool. Just one thing for all the people out there. We have been working off camera for half an hour just before on my takeoff. You know, we've got a couple of shots of that, but I think today we're going to be working on just some other stuff.
Absolutely. So we've worked a little bit on your takeaway. We'll jump into that in a second. We'll see how what Ollie was doing in his takeaway was kind of setting a chain of events to come, which wasn't really ideal, wasn't really repeatable. And then hopefully once we've done that, we'll work a little bit on downswing and help you hitting some better shots, mate.
Sounds good.
Perfect. Let's get into it.
Cool.
Ollie, just to recap on the half hour that we've just had leading into us now being able to work on a bit of downswing. A couple of changes that we made and the reason why we've made them. What we initially saw that on your takeaway, you'd get that club working inside, behind the hands and quite open. From there, leading the club to get too far behind the body, so then you just kind of lifted with the arms. It gets you very out of sync, and from there, it's very easy to get that club working out over the top, which is giving you swing directions earlier of minus 15 plus, really, which is going to be quite hard. We saw in the downswing when the face is that open, we can get that nice lovely fade that you got that we saw on the third last week. However, when you get that face closed, we get a big 60-yard left shot and it's a lost ball, which is quite tough. So little changes that we've made sure that we've got pressure points in the grip, so left heel pad, left thumb, and then right trigger finger, just putting some pressure against the right hand side of that shaft. Sitting the right elbow down, nice and soft. And what those two changes do is they allow you to keep some pressure against the right hand side of the shaft, which then allows you to pick the club up a little bit more on plane in the backswing, which again is going to start that swing to get a little bit more in sync, ready for us to now work on that downswing.
Cool.
Sound good?
Yeah.
So just to loosen up, have a few warm-up shots. Just work on what we were working earlier without us even thinking about the downswing.
Same thing with the grip, just
same thing with the grip and the arms. Good start there. For your next shot, let's just recap a little bit on what we were doing. So, grip placed in the fingers, that heel pad's on top supporting that club. Nice little stabilizer, bring the right hand in. Fantastic. And we're just using this little part of the finger here just as a little pressure point. All right, perfect. Right elbow soft and down. Just keep it nice and relaxed, and then when we're working that club away, the feeling that you had earlier was just, it felt that you were kind of keeping the arm straight, didn't it? Yeah? Keeping them straight, extending back and extending through. Well done, good strike. So one thing that stands out there, different last couple of shots, was a little bit out of balance. Think about that one thing that we spoke about at setup. It looked at the start of the day where you leant forward, got a bit on your toes. We noticed this out on the golf course. Before you go, tap those toes, get nice and balanced, feel settled. Your word, was you felt planted, you felt
my knees
rooted.
Bend more when I do that, and then I just feel a bit more solid.
You don't need to worry too much about them being bent, but balanced.
That was the feel I got, you know.
Perfect. Once you're balanced, then you can feel like you have good rhythm. Something you mentioned earlier was when you felt like you didn't have good balance, it felt a little bit jerky.
Yeah, that was your phrase. Feel.
Snappy, perfect, So balanced and good rhythm. Good, well done. So one thing that's quite interesting is ball flight's starting to become quite natural, or quite neutral, sorry. If we look on the screen at the moment, something that's really interesting is, okay, we've brought it back down from 9 iron or 7 iron, but instead of our swing direction being minus 15, you're starting to get a swing direction of minus 5. So that swing is already starting to straighten up, just by you being a little bit more in sync in the takeaway and the backswing. When we make change, it's always going to feel awkward, different, tight, compact, all those ideas. So what I like to feel is, a lot of golfers as they're trying to improve, like to feel loose, and they like to feel like everything's smooth, I suppose, is the word, fluid, When actually, what I'm trying to do a lot of the times is put little locks in place to help them get a little bit more connected, feel a little bit more compact, which then can allow us to create some consistency, which is that big buzzword that every amateur golfer out there watching on the camera wants to achieve. And I think that's where it's really important to think about practice. You've got to get to the range a couple of days of the week. We've got to give you some drills that you can do at home, even if it's just for 2 minutes while you're boiling the kettle and making a cup of tea, because that little and often practice is what's going to really bleed into making you, or allowing you to make a change, as opposed to just relying on going out there once a week and playing, or relying on that one one range session a week, which isn't probably going to quite cut it. Good, nice and balanced.
Oh no.
It's okay. Last strike was a little bit out of the heel. I'm going to put a little bit of a constraint in the way. So we've got a wedge. You've seen Tommy Fleetwood do this all the time, right? We want to be a bit more like Tommy. So we're going to put a little wedge in place. We're going to set up with the ball just a couple of inches away from that. And that there is just going to provide us with a little barrier to make sure that we're not moving that club away from us too much. And again, it's another reason for us to encourage that swing direction to start to neutralize a little bit, okay? Apart from that, just you be you. Excellent, nice and balanced, good rhythm. Good. Right, now we're starting to see a decent level of dispersion. So now we need to make the task, we need to progress a little bit. So we're going to go from 50 degree and we're now going to go up to 9 iron again.
Right, just before we go on 9 iron, swing direction -15, I think, early in the day.
Yep.
Is that any decent? Is that
so
what's the optimum?
-3 is good for a wedge. We want to sit somewhere in the region of that. So to go from -15, which is really over the top and across it, to then bring that back somewhere near neutral is going to be really good for us. Obviously, smash factor at the moment on there is at 1. When we're hitting, for when we're hitting pitch shots, that's good. Smash factor is going to be dependent on the club that we're using. Smash factor is basically the quality of our strike. How close are we to getting that ball being struck out the middle? And that's all going to depend on loft. So depending on what clubs people on the camera are using is going to depend on how much that smash factor is. With a 7 iron, for example, we might want to be somewhere around 1.35, 1.4. Depending on the club that you're using. For driver, we want to be somewhere near 1.5.
9 iron?
9 iron, we're going to see if we can get that 1.3, somewhere around about that.
Okay, so like just under the 7 iron. So
The important thing at the moment is as we're making these changes, we want to continue to make sure low point's ahead of the golf ball. That's going to mean that we're going to be hitting ball and turf, compression, which is great. We then want to make sure that swing direction's starting to neutralise. As we're making those changes, strike will start to improve. So don't get too het up on strike straight away, Ollie. So again, build the setup, good arm structure. So good hands, good arm structure, good balance, good rhythm. Good effort. The strike wasn't perfect, but again, if we look at swing direction, you've gone from swinging it -15 earlier to -2 at the moment.
Honestly, it's like, I'm not trying to like exaggerate, even for the camera, but like the difference is massive.
It is big.
It feels different, but like I never thought in like half an hour the numbers would change that much. Like it feels like silly awkward, but I don't mind when like I can see those results in terms of data. Like,
Absolutely.
I like that.
I think that there's the key is, for me when we use TrackMan in a lesson, TrackMan isn't there to dictate the lesson. TrackMan's there to give me an insight of, right, for me we've got 6 numbers on there. If I know that we can work on those 6 numbers or which of those key 6 numbers we need to work on, and then we can use those numbers for you as a backup source to go, okay, I can trust what this guy's telling me and I know that I'm heading in the right direction.
I trust you without the numbers.
Perfect.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, it's backup for you to be able to trust it and then actually keep reproducing what we want you to do. There's nothing worse than trying to make a change that feels awkward to then not have any data to actually back up that, okay, I need to keep going down this avenue. Yeah, back in off them for me. Again, not the best strike in the world, but a pretty neutral straight ball flight, which is nice. And again, swing direction looks pretty decent on there. Okay, also, at the start of the day, we had a movement which was very much inside and disconnected. Okay, at the moment, we're very connected with the hands and the club, but they're just starting to work a little bit out. So all we're going to do is a couple of repetitions, just a little takeaway drill where you're going to do the same movement, but you're just going to get those hands to work back inside that alignment cane up to the top and pause for me, okay?
Cool.
Excellent, love that. How does that feel?
Yeah, better.
Give me some feedback on how that feels.
I kind of against the exaggerated one, which is obviously going that way.
Yeah.
Feels almost like I might fall into the trap of going 2 in, but I think if I just keep the pressure tucked in, it'll be all right.
Yeah, a good feeling in here is what we really want to do is feel like the butt of the club is in and the club head is out. So if you think about this, start of the day you were club head in, hands out. Now you're hands out, club out. Now we're going to go hands in, club out, which is going to be really on plane, okay? So into that feeling, go again. Excellent, good. Does that feel like you're starting to use the body a little bit more?
Yeah.
Definitely starting to turn into the hip and with the trunk. Good. So a couple of little bits and pieces that we really need to go away and work on.
Yeah.
Once we've got these ingrained, it'll provide us with the base to then move on, okay? This is a journey, not just a quick fix. So we have to appreciate that journey. Key things that we've worked on: placement of the hands, so building a good grip. From there, arm structure and good balance at setup, just making sure we can tap those toes so that we're not too much on our weight on our toes. Yeah. From there, the next step is just feeling like the chest and the hands work a little bit more together on the takeaway, which is then going to start you off in sync, nice and connected, ready for us then next time to attack that downswing. Hands to pocket, hands to pocket. Good. Hands to pocket and then up. Okay? Perfect.
Well, that's a wrap for the second lesson. Like, subscribe, put a comment in below. Over to you, Ash.
Yeah, let us know what you're working on. Put it down below. Don't forget to hit that bell icon. That's going to allow you to see every single video that we post. Keep up to date with all the content. And then if you want to see some articles, head over to golfingcurious.com and we'll check you in the next video.
See you soon.